वनशहदु अल्ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह वहदहु ला शरीक लह वनशहदु अन्न सय्यदना व हबीबना व मौलाना मुहम्मदन अब्दुहु व रसूलुहु अम्मा बादु फ़अऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम क़ाल ला यअतीकुमा तआमुन तुरज़क़ानिही इल्ला नब्बातुकुमा बितावीलिही क़ब्ल अन यअतियकुमा ज़ालिकुमा मिम्मा अल्लमनी रब्बी इन्नी तरक्तु मिल्लत क़ौमिन ला युमिनून बिल्लाहि व हुम बिल आखिरति हुम काफिरून वत्तबअतु मिल्लत आबाई इब्राहीम व इसहाक़ व याक़ूब मा कान लना अन नुश्रिक बिल्लाहि मिन शै ज़ालिक मिन फ़ज़लिल्लाहि अलैना व अलन नासि वलाकिन्न अक्सरन नासि ला यशकुरून या साहिबय सिज्नि अअरबाबुम मुतफ़र्रिक़ून खैरुन अमिल्लाहुल वाहिदुल क़ह्हार मा ताबुदून मिन दूनिही इल्ला अस्माअन सम्मयतमुहा अंतुम व आबाउकुम मा अंज़लल्लाहु बिहा मिन सुल्तान इनिल हुक्मु इल्ला लिल्लाह अमर अल्ला ताबुदू इल्ला इय्याह ज़ालिकद्दीनुल क़य्यिम वलाकिन्न अक्सरन नासि ला यअलमून या साहिबय सिज्नि अम्मा अहदुकुमा फयस्क़ी रब्बहु खम्रा व अम्मल आखरु फयुस्लबु फताकुलु त्वय्रु मिन रअसिही क़ुदियल अम्रु अल्लज़ी फ़ीहि तस्तफ़्तियान वक़ाल लिल्लज़ी ज़न्न अन्नहु नाजिम मिन्हु मज़्कुरनी इन्द रब्बिक फ़अन्साहु अश्शैतानु ज़िक्र रब्बिही फ़लबिथ फ़िस्सिज्नि बअद सिनीन फ़अन्साहु अश्शैतानु ज़िक्र रब्बिही फ़लबिथ फ़िस्सिज्नि बिदअ सिनीन वक़ालल मलिकु इन्नी अरा सबअ बक़रातिन सिमानी याकुलुहुन्न सबउन इजाफ़ुन व सबअ सुंबुलातिन खुज़रिन व उख़रा याबिसात या अय्युहल मलअु अफ़्तूनी फ़ी रुअयाय इन कुन्तुम लिर्रुअया ताबुरून क़ालू अदग़ाथु अहलाम वमा नहनु बितावीलिल अहलामि बिआलिमीन वक़ाल अल्लज़ी नजा मिन्हुमा वद्दकर बअद उम्मतिन अना उनब्बिउकुम बितावीलिही फ़अरसिलून यूसुफ़ अय्युहस सिद्दीक़ अफ़्तिना फ़ी सब'i बक़रातिन सिमानी याकुलुहुन्न सबउन इजाफ़ुन व सब'i सुंबुलातिन खुज़रिन व उख़रा याबिसात लअल्ली अर्जिउ इलन नासि लअल्लहुम यअलमून क़ाल तज़रऊन सबअ सिनीन दअबा फमा हसदतुम फज़रूहु फ़ी सुंबुलिही इल्ला क़लीलन मिम्मा ताकुलून सुम्मा यअती मिन बअदि ज़ालिका सबउन शिदादुन यअकुल्न मा क़द्दमतुम लहुन्न इल्ला क़लीलन मिम्मा तुहसिनून सुम्मा यअती मिन बअदि ज़ालिका आमुन फ़ीहि युग़ाथुन्नासु व फ़ीहि यअसिरून वक़ालल मलिकु उतूनी बिही فلما جاءه الرسول قال ارجع إلى ربك فاسأله ما بال النسوة اللاتي قطعن أيديهن إن ربي بكيدهن عليم قال ما خطبكن إذ راوتن يوسف عن نفسه قلنا حاش لله ما علمنا عليه من سوء قالت امرأة العزيز الآن حصحص الحق أنا راودته عن نفسه وإنه لمن الصادقين ذلك ليعلم أني لم أخنه بالغيب وأن الله لا يهدي كيد الخائنين صدق الله وصدق رسوله النبي الأمي الكريم. My dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, last Friday we talked about this special ilm Tabirur Ru'ya, and some people, they have been blessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They explain the roya and the dreams in the proper way, and the things happen as they explain. In this regard, two things are there. Number one, the knowledge of Quran and Sunnah, and number two, that keeping in view the situation they are living there. And beside that, which is utmost important, that is God-given wisdom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives to someone. And that's why I mentioned that what a great Imam Malik, what a great Imam Abu Hanifa, but still for the interpretation of their own dream, they used to send their student to Imam Muhammad ibn Sirin rahmatullahi alayh, who was considered as Imam of Tabirur Ru'ya. My dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam. So anyhow, those two guys are two young men who said to Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam about their dream. One of them said that I was carrying the breads over my head or on my head, and the birds used to snatch it therefrom with their beaks and claws. And the other one said, I saw myself that I was squeezing the grapes and making the juice. And as we mentioned before, that those two guys, they were actually charged for poisoning the food of the king. One of them, he was the ashpaz or the cook, and the other one, he was the bar guy who was providing the drinks. And later on, they were put in jail. So they came to Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. Now, as I told you last Friday, when a non-Muslim, he gets involved with you in one way or the other, in a good way, means that he asks you about something. So then that is the opportunity you can exploit it for da'wat. As I mentioned, that through your actions you can convince someone to ask about Islam. Your co-worker, whosoever he is, if you are too nice to him, you are truthful, you are honest, and he felt it, and he asked you that, brother, in my life I have not seen a good guy like you, or very rarely I have seen guys like you. How you are that nice? How do you not tell lies? Why do you not cheat? So don't make a credit for yourself. Already you have been accredited by that guy. That's why he is asking you, as a Muslim, now you should exploit that opportunity. That actually that is not me, but that is actually the teaching of my beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. These are the injunctions given by Allah in our deen and in our holy book. So he's a human. He has sense. He has aql. Everybody is looking for good. So he will ask you, how can I learn about your deen? So that is the opportunity. You exploited it. So here, these two young men, they asked Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam about their dream. Now that was the time Yusuf alayhi salam exploited the opportunity, and he told them that la yatikuma ta'amun turzaqanih illa nabatukuma bitawilih. That one meaning is that before lunchtime you are provided in jail. Before that I will tell you the interpretation of your dream. And another meaning, which is secondary, la yatikuma ta'amun turzaqanih, what you would be given next in future, the ultimate end or the ultimate result of your case, that would not have come to you, but I will tell you the interpretation of the dream and it will come accordingly. But the first interpretation, that is obvious and apparent, that before lunchtime I will tell you that what will happen to you people. So he said that what I am telling you, he put the foundation stone. Zalikuma mimma allamani rabbi. That is not my kamal. That is not my skill or my wisdom. Actually, my Lord has taught me this one. So that is God-given thing. So that was the foundation, because he took them both right away to the concept of God and concept of Lord. Zalikuma mimma allamani rabbi. And later on, he said, Inni taraktu millata qawm la yu'minuna billahi wa hum bil akhirati hum kafirun. That there are people that do not believe in akhirah nor in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inni taraktu millata qawm, what it means, that I came from such an area where the people are mushrikeen, but I have deserted them. Inni taraktu millata qawmin la yu'minuna billah wa hum bil akhirati hum kafirun. And what I did, wattaba'tu millata abai Ibrahim wa Ishaq wa Yaqub. I followed the millat and deen of my forefathers, Ibrahim, Ishaq and Yaqub, alayhimu salawatu wa taslimat. Ma kana lana an nushrika billahi min shay. Now this is the basic da'wah he gave to them. It does not make sense to us that somebody will be making partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Zalika min fadlillahi alayna. This is actually the grace of Allah, that he stopped us and prevented us for shirk, and he called us towards tawheed. Because tawheed is justice, that is adl, and shirk is zulm, that is injustice. So this is the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, preventing someone from zulm and calling him towards justice, which is tawheed. So Allah subhanahu, he said, ذَلِكَ مِنْ فَضْلِ اللَّهِ عَلَيْنَا وَعَلَى النَّاسِ وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ لَا يَشْكُرُونَ. But most of the people, they are not paying thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. يَا صَاحِبَيَ السِّجْنِ أَأَرْبَابٌ مُتَفَرِّقُونَ خَيْرٌ أَمِ اللَّهُ الْوَاحِدُ الْقَهَّارُ. O my two companions of prison, tell me, أَأَرْبَابٌ مُتَفَرِّقُونَ, you have to address the aql of a aqil. When he is attentive, he is listening to you properly. So that is the time. That is the time. The iron is hard, just hit with a sledgehammer. So he says, Ya Saheba Sijn, Arbabu Mutafarriquna Khairun, Amillahu al-Wahidul Qahar. If someone, he will divide himself to different gods and lords, that is good. Or if somebody will devote himself to only one Lord and one God. Arbabu Mutafarriqun Khairum Amillahu al-Wahidul Qahar. And then he said, because they were mushrikeen as well, Ma ta'buduna illa asma'an sammaytumuha antum wa aba'ukum. What about these deities you people used to worship? These are only names, nothing else. These are only your wrong concepts nothing else. That this God is for this thing and this God is for this job. So these are only titles you have given them. It has nothing to do with reality. As we say sometimes that facts are facts and facts are sacred. Al-haqa'iqu muqaddasa. Reality is reality. If you deny it even, it will never get changed. It will still be there. Now we are in broad daylight. If we will sit here and somebody will think that we are in midnight and that's very stormy and very cold and very black and things like that, the moment he will open his eyes, he will see nothing but the broad daylight. Because concepts cannot change the realities. So مَا تَعْبُدُونَ مِن دُونِهِ إِلَّا أَسْمَاءً سَمَّيْتُمُوهَا أَنْتُمْ وَآبَاؤُكُمْ. You have titled and given these names to different deities and different gods. It does not have any foundation. It does not have any asas. In al-hukmu illa lillah. Because in al-hukm last night, we were talking about a word ilah. A word ilah. That what is ilah? So I told them in dars that ilah is either from aliha or that is from waliha. So if that is from aliha, so its meaning is raja'ah. So the Arabian people, they say alihal fasilu ila ummihi. The baby cow rushed and ran towards its mothers. And then I told them that when a baby cow is making a run towards his mother, otherwise an open field, he is jumping here to there and there to there and there to there, and suddenly he rushes to its mother. So I say that for two things. Number one, when he feels hungry, so he goes to the mother to suck the milk, which is benefit. Number one. Number two, if he sees a dog is coming and he is barking as well, so in fear, he rushes to its mother for protection. And that is actually the concept of God. That for nafa and benefit, you have to approach him and to invoke him. Number one. And when you are in difficulties, which is a fear, so then once again you have to approach him and to invoke him. وَإِن يَمْسَسْكَ اللَّهُ بِضُرٍّ فَلَا كَاشِفَ لَهُ إِلَّا هُوَ وَإِن يُرِدْكَ بِخَيْرٍ فَلَا رَادَّ لِفَضْلِهِ يُصِيبُ بِهِ مَن يَشَاءُ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ وَهُوَ الْغَفُورُ الرَّحِيمُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, if any harm touches you, so nobody can take it away but only Allah. So why you are invoking other deities or makhluk or creature? فَلَا كَاشِفَ لَهُ إِلَّا هُوَ. And if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala intends to give you some good, some khair, some benefit, so nobody can stop it. Even the whole world cannot stop it. In a hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam says that وَعْلَمْ إِنَّ الْخَلْقَ لَوْ اجْتَمَعُوا عَلَىٰ أَن يَنْفَعُوكَ بِشَيْءٍ لن ينفعوك إلا ما قد كتب الله لك ولو اجتمعوا على أن يضروك بشيء لن يضروك إلا ما قد كتب الله لك. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam says, if the people from all over the world, they will get together to harm you a little bit, they cannot, but only to the extent which already has been written by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If the whole world want a benefit for you and they will get together, they cannot give you any benefit, but only to the extent of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already decreed in your favor. So, alihal fasil. And the second one, that is waliha. I was telling them, this is a gift for Hisham and for you and for Brother Muhammad. Yes, that waliha and aliha. So if that is from aliha, so Hamza Alif, that is harfi asli. But if that is from, and also from Abdul Qadir, because he came very fresh from Arabian world. So anyhow, waliha. So then the alif is not asli, but that is badali. Yes, a replacement. That the waw is changed to Hamza Alif. Otherwise, the actual word is waliha. Yawlahu wa minhu al-walhan li shaytan yuhayyirka fi wudu'ik. And from that waliha, there is a title of one specific shaitan who is giving you confusion when you are making wudu, or you have not washed your face. Even though your face is wet, because to people, something like that happened. At that time, you have to say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. These wasawis are coming. You have seen people or not? Say. So that is the case of walhan. So that is from waliha. So now, when ilah is from waliha, so what it means? It means that the very entity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, nobody or the whole world can encompass that entity as far as knowledge about him is concerned. And that's what Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, لا تتفكروا في الخالق بل تفكروا في خلقه. Never think about the entity of Khaliq and the Creator. Think about the creature of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Through that, you will know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why in Holy Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He is talking about His wujud, His wahdaniyat, His rububiyyat, so at that time, He is bringing forth the example of His creature. Look at the heavens. Think about that. Look at the earth. Think about that. Look at yourself, how you are created and how you were born. Look at the crops, how it is coming out. Look at your food. Everything is creature. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "Tafakkaru fil khalq, wa la tatafakkaru fil khaliq." Because Khaliq, how he is and who he is, that is beyond your approach. In this regard, you will believe in khabar only. You will not depend on nazar. Two things are there. Number one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala depends on khabar. Number two, qabr, and after qabr mean akhirat, that depends on khabar, not on nazar. If somebody is too much wise man, too much, and he will think about akhirah, will he find based on his thinking something about akhirah? Yes. So where from he will get knowledge about akhirah? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what khabar he has given, what Holy Quran said. Same is the case of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why that the utmost great Muslim after the messengers and prophets, that was who? Abu Bakr radiyallahu ta'ala afdalul khalaiq ba'd al-anbiya. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu ta'ala an. That Abu Bakr, who was that much knowledgeable and that much good worshipper of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he was sitting there. He was invoking Allah. Do you know what he said? Ya man ghayatu ma'rifatihi al-qusuru an ma'rifatihi. Ya man ghayatu ma'rifatihi al-qusuru an ma'rifatihi. Or the one whose knowing is to admit that I couldn't know you properly. Because if you said that I knew Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala properly, it means that you encompassed his entity. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not muhat. You cannot encompass him. He is muhit. Ahata bi kulli shay'in ilma wa la yuhituna bi shay'in min ilmi. So anyhow, my dear respected brother, so the book which I referred you to, Al-Fara'id fil Aqa'id, that is, you will study it. Because the other one, that's in Urdu language, Khuda kahan hai? Yes, Khuda kahan hai? Where is Allah? Yes, Khuda kahan hai? Where is Allah? So anyhow, but I have written another book also in Arabic, not printed yet. In Allah, huna am hunaka aw inda qafaka. In Allah, huna am hunaka aw inda qafaka. That where is Allah? He is here. He is there, or he is close to you. وَنَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ حَبْلِ الْوَرِيدِ أَوْ عِنْدَ قَفَاكَ. So anyhow, my dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, actually I'm touching these mawzuat and these subjects. People without knowledge, they are talking and debating these issues. They are putting their iman on stake. Got it? And as a student of Quran and Sunnah, I feel myself bound how to protect the iman of mu'mineen and the Islam of Muslimin. Because if you are not thinking of Muslims and Allah has given you the title of Talib Ilm, or let's say Alim, so what's your duty? Have you thought about the protection of their Iman? If you are not thinking about the protection of them, defending the Iman of Muslims, it means that you are not a good Muslim. Because Muslims as a whole, you must consider them as a single entity. Yes, we are the ajza of Islam. We are the ajza of Muslim. We are not the juz'i of Muslim. Because being a juz'i, that give you the concept of istiqlal, that you are complete on your own. No, we the Muslims are being completed by one another. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam says in a hadith, al-Muslimun fi tawadudihim wa ta'atufihim wa tarahumihim kamathali jasadin wahida. إذا اشتكى بعضه اشتكى كله وفي رواية إذا اشتكى بعضه تداعى له سائر الجسد بالسهر والحمى. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam says that Muslims, for Muslims, they are just like one body. When in body the pain is here, so you feel it in whole body, especially when it comes septic. Yes, and not only that, it causes you what? As-sahar wal-humma. You cannot sleep good at night because of pain. And number two, your whole body is getting fever. So, if the Muslims are like this, it means that the Iman is working, remote control is working, a remote connection is working, they are connected to one another. But if you don't have that feeling, it means that in between something is rusted there. That's why the current does not pass through or does not go through. You are picking what I am saying or not? The other brother, they don't understand anything. Are you understand? Yes, Jazakallah. So anyhow, my dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, so Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, I was referring to walihayawlahu walahan. So it means that the very entity of Allah, you can talk about his attributes and qualities. And we are talking in al-Aqaid about his qualities. Last night in this it came that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has two types of attributes or sifat. One we call it as-sifat az-zatiyya. The second one we call it as-sifat al-fi'liyya. I gave them a criterion by Imam Abu Mansur Maturidi that a wasf zati and a zati sifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that one you can say it for Allah, but you cannot say its opposite for Allah. And sifat fi'li, you can say that quality for Allah and the opposite of the quality for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if both are applied to Allah, so that is sifat fi'li. If one is attributed to Allah and the other one cannot, so that is sifat zati. Like hayat or life, this is sifat zati. Because you can attribute to Allah that He is al-hayyu. Got it? But what is the opposite of hayat and life? Death. So can we say that Allah is dead? So this is hayat is sifat zati or ilm, knowledge. You can say it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or you must say it for Allah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has the ilm. So what is the opposite of ilm? That is jahl and ignorance. Can we say it for Allah? So ilm is sifat zati, and these sifat zatiyya are 7 altogether. Yes, wahiya majma'atun alayha. All the ayyamah, they agreed upon. In one they disputed, which is takween. Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayh, he says it for Allah as sifat zati. Imam Shafi rahmatullah alayh, he says this is not sifat zati, it's sifat fi'li. And then the details are there. إِذَا قَضَى أَمْرًا فَإِنَّمَا يَقُولُ لَهُ kun fayakun. So anyhow, my dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam. So now what will be sifati fi'li? Like ihya, giving life. What? Giving. So we say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is al-muhyi. Muhyi is written there in sifat or not? That is, what is the opposite? Al-imata. Yes, causing death. Al-mumit. So mumit is also there. So when both sides could be attributed to Allah, so sifat is called sifat fi'li. And when only one side is attributed to Allah, so sifat is called sifat zati. I'm making you Imam Abu Mansur Maturidi or Imam Abu Hasan al-Ash'ari. So anyhow, my dear respected brothers, that is a very complicated subject. Very much complicated subject. So anyhow, my dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, he told them that these are only names you have given to them. It has nothing to do with reality. Ma anzalallahu biha min sultan, and the concept of God that is actually based upon the message given by Allah. So is there any message about the uluhiyat of these deity, that they are gods or partners of God? Manzallahu biha min sultan. There is no dalil in this regard. And then he said, in al-hukmu illa lillah. So what is hakimiyyat? So last night I told them that this is lughawi tahqiq of ilah. But now what will be the technical meaning? So we are giving two meaning to ilah. Number one, ma'bud, and number two, rabb mutasarrif. So la ilaha illallah, we say mostly la ma'buda illallah. But another meaning is la ilaha illallah. There is no rabb mutasarrif but only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who is Rabb? Who is taking care of every single particle. Yes, every single particle in the creature exists because of Allah, and it remains because of Allah, because He is taking care of. So He is Rabb. He is providing us. He is providing us oxygen. He is giving us food. He is providing us water. He is giving us sehat. He is healing us. Things like that. So anyhow, that is actually the meaning or the interpretation of Rabb. And I told them that shirk in human, it started in rububiyyat, not in uluhiyyat. From the very beginning, people were making partners with Allah in His rububiyyat, not in uluhiyyat. But when they believed that something else is also Rabb, then they started how to please Him. So to please Him, they started His ibadah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, in al-hukmu illa lillah, that hakimiyyat, that is only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now when He is hakim, only He. So amara Allah ta'budu illa iya. His order is that not to worship, but only Allah. Zalika ad-deenul qayyim. This is the straight deen and the straightening deen as well. If you want a straight deen, that is Islam. If you want to straighten your affair, just follow Islam. So ذَلِكَ الدِّينُ الْقَيِّمُ وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. But majority of people, they do not understand this.